Won't be taking any questions on Mac Brown's status either at this time. Someone has said, yeah, that's where Darren is. He's over at the Longhorn luncheon. Oh. Well, I had a tough game at Tulsa against a good team. 3 minutes, it just went to hell in the breadbasket. It just went boom like that. We had a nice drive going, got all the way down to the 6-yard line, down to the 1-yard line, and could not get that darn ball in. Both teams opened with good drives. Both teams were ready to play. And I really felt like, we could have scored that first touchdown. Then at halftime, we're still in the game, 6-3. Got it, we're within striking distance. They come out and put a nice drive together in the third quarter, and we come out and put a nice drive together. And I think our offensive coaches made some adjustments on a couple of plays that ended up being long, very good plays for us. But then again, we got down there into the end zone and could not make it. And then they stopped us. We threw the pick on 4th and 1. Play action pass down there. Guy was open, but he threw it behind him. Then 2 plays later, they break 180 yards. You just kind of feel the air going out of the balloon when that happened. And then followed up with Carson getting hit as he was throwing, and the ball bounced up, and they picked it up and ran that in. That was tough to overcome. At 11 minutes, however, we did put a drive together, and then Carson and Bell miscommunicated on the handoff and dropped the ball right there, and they recovered it, and that certainly didn't help. But I thought Tulsa was a fine tackling team. I thought we held them really actually to 26 points, and they're averaging 40. I think our defense, even though people are getting yardage, we're still playing very well on defense, but we just haven't got it put together on offense. It's just horrible frustration. Nick Lamison pulled a hamstring, got a pretty good Charlie horse, and did not play but one play in the second half. And I thought he came to play. He started the game pretty accurately and made some good throws early. And then, and I don't think Carson played horrible, but the turnovers are, we had 2 fumbles and an interception and in key situations, and that's really hurt us lately. We were so good the first 4 games at ball security, and so poor these last couple of games. Ian Campbell did a nice job punting, ripped off a 71-yarder. He was sick Tuesday night, and then Wednesday he came late to practice, and so when that happens, you have punishment that you have to run. So he ran that right before the game on Wednesday, and was completely exhausted Wednesday night, and I think he forgot about all the stress he was putting on himself, and really had a fine day punting. Started, averaged over 50 yards and hit the first one 71 yards. Sometimes that happens. He was more, thinking about his sickness and his legs being sore from running and everything, and weak. And then he didn't stress out about his punting, and he punted really good. Questions about the game, the Tulsa game?
Yes,
I'll see how healthy Nick is. We had, that's why I'm dressed the way I am. We had practice this morning, really a walkthrough. We ran him and lifted him, and then had a walkthrough out on the Glory Road field this morning. And Nick was running on the sideline, so we'll see what, when we get our game plan, just who fits into that well. But we'd like for him to be healthy and be able to run.
Is he still the starting quarterback?
Well, I guess he is right now, you know. I don't know if he's going to start or not. It'll just depend on his hamstring. But he does have a good Charlie horse and a knot in there. He probably wouldn't start today if we had a game, no. But it was great to have 2 days rest. We didn't do anything Saturday and Sunday, so a lot of the players came back refreshed mentally and physically. We lost Malcolm Trail. He'll be getting surgery. And we have 2 kids who have to do concussion impact tests this afternoon, Mike Edwards and Adrian James. And then Eric Tomlinson looks like might have broken his wrist. We're going to see if that has to be operated on. If it is, he's done for the year. If not, he could play with a cast. He's in the process of finding that out right now. Yeah, it's just a lot of things. We're not doing some of the little things correctly. Although this last game we broke 2 long plays, 2 long pass plays, and you know, I hope it has something to do with the opponents that we've played, being good defensive teams. But we just we're off. We're definitely off, and if you know, we'd be a lot happier if our offense was doing better. We would have maybe won a couple of these games because all the games have been close. Our defense has kept us in the games, and they've been close. And we've done just enough to move. I think it's down when it's a third down. Our third down conversions are horrible. Our red zone conversions aren't good. The orange zone and goal line short yardage is not good. Those are key areas where we're making mistakes, and that's where you really got to be watching what you're doing and executing properly. That's what it's been. Is from the 20 to 20, we're okay. But if you look at anything that we've done in the past, you know, this isn't even close to what we should be doing and expect to do. So it's creating some frustration.
The first time you got down there, you did a play fake and then 2 tight ends out on 4th down, looking for a tight end. The next time you got down there, you just tried banging it in and kind of hammered it in.
Right.
Is it just sort of frustrating? I mean, do you feel like there's just nothing that's the right call at this point?
Well, nothing is the right call at this point because they haven't worked. Our 2-point play was great. Our 2-point play that we did was great, but we should have thrown that maybe for a touchdown. But they're packing the box, and we're trying to run it in there from shotgun, and it's not something that we've done before, and so we either got to stay the course or change it. Pretty good. The one thing I love this team. They have great character, great attitude. Didn't get one phone call this weekend from anybody. So that's a good sign. When they have Saturday, these are guys now, Friday night and Saturday night off, and with no practice the next day, they can kind of kick back and some places I've been, I got a lot of phone calls. So they're doing this practicing in the morning, going to class right away, having breakfast and going to class right away has really been a great thing for our academics. So they're just so compliant. They deserve to win. I'm frustrated because of that. We've got to give them the answers, and by God, we're going to do it. You know, we're going to come up with some plays or personnel or movement or something. I'm not going to give away our game plan, but something different that is going to be more effective for this Tulane game coming up.
On that note, Coach, what do you look to in the locker room to keep the team spirit?
Well, I think we have to make sure that we're positive with them, and I think in a way that what happened this weekend in college football had to make them feel a little bit better when you see what Oklahoma did to Texas and what Wisconsin did to Purdue and what Ole Miss did to Auburn, and they see those games being played on TV or seeing them saying, hey, we played with those teams. And so that's got to, I want them to get confidence from that. At the same time, you want to be critical and correct the mistakes, and we are still remaining very disciplined in everything we do. We're not letting go of any of those rules or team rules or anything like that. We are being strict. A lot of times when the plane starts going down, people start jumping out and throwing luggage out the window and everything, trying to make the plane lighter. And we're not going to do that. We're going to hang on to all of our principles and our standards in our program all the way through the season.
So you still believe you have their attention?
Yes, definitely. And I've asked them, and we've talked about it on Friday. We met with the team and talked to them about it, and they seem to have their heads up. At least they're fresh physically now, and they have fresh legs. And 2 days off, haven't worked, and it's a whole new week, whole new season. Got a chance to win 5 games. Could be the biggest turnaround in UTEP football history, if there is such a thing, Jeff. Yeah, but of course, we're playing Tulane, and their quarterback gets well, and he throws for over 300 yards, and they beat SMU, and